this. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to rumble?
Hey, let me know. All right. Good evening, everybody. Hey, there we are. Good evening, everybody. It's Bill Graham from Model Railroading Live. And tonight, who's Big Bill talking to? I'll introduce my guest to you in 1 minute or so. It's April 22nd, 2020. And we had a little technical difficulties. That's why we're a little bit late. I do have a few things I have to say in regards to our show, what we're doing, how we're doing it. And like I said, some earlier technical difficulties. John had some technical difficulties getting in, but anyway, sometimes that's what happens when you go live with the show. Anyway, what I wanted to say was that tomorrow night, on Thursday, you all know we're going to have Johnny's Train Talk show. And that's where we get together, and you guys out in the community can come in. Like I always say, you can bring and brag, bring stuff in if you want to brag about it. And if you have any questions related to model railroading, by all means, please bring it. It's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Johnny's Train Talk show. You guys are more than welcome. Invite your friends, invite anybody. And you guys can be a part of this just like we are right now, sitting in here and be a part of it. And the other thing, and the last time I was on, I neglected to thank one person, and I first want to apologize to Indian Head Valley Railroad, Wilma. A couple of weeks ago, Wilma put me on my channel, South Brooklyn Railroad, as the channel of the week. And I thanked him personally, but I wanted to thank him on the show. And I never really, after we had gone off, I forgot all about it. And I remembered it later on in the evening. And I want to correct that. On Wilma's channel, Indian Head Valley Railroad, he always does a segment of shout outs to certain model railroaders. He lists them. That's where I get all you guys from, because he does the heavy lifting for me. And but anyway, he made my channel the channel of the week, and I was very appreciative and very thankful. And I was quite moved, to be quite honest with you. I'm a little channel. I don't have a lot of subscribers, and it doesn't matter to me if I have 80 or 8. It doesn't matter to me. I do it because I like doing it. But he recommended me on his channel, and I just wanted to say thank you very much, Wilma. It was very kind and very generous of you to include me as the channel. What's that? He's waiting on the other half of his payment. Oh, I thought it was a freebie. Yeah, and another apology goes out to my good friend Ralph Renzetti. Ralph, I dropped the ball this week. I dropped the ball. We had a lot going on in the household due to this COVID virus stuff going on, and so I dropped the ball on it. And I do apologize to you, Ralph, for not getting you the notification. My fault completely, and I apologize. So there's two kudos, two apologies out there. And, let's get on to some better things and better. We already have 42 42 people watching this show in the first 11 minutes or 10 minutes, and I believe that's because of you, David.
No, man.
No 42 people come to see me, my friend. They come to see you.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, we have our special guest tonight, Dave Thurber. Am I pronouncing that right, Dave? Your last name?
It's Thurber, Thurber.
Okay. I'll call you Dave.
It works.
We got Dave here from the Crooked River and Eastern Railroad. Dave, I saw a couple of his videos, and I wanted to get him on, and then Jim Tedesco was on, and Jim was in touch with Dave, and Dave said, "Oh, see, you're on, Jim. I wanted to get on that show," so I made that shout out. And I looked up at Dave's YouTube channel, and it's Crooked River Eastern Railroad. That's the name of the channel. And looked at it, and obviously it was a good choice. I don't know why I didn't notice you before. Again, my apologies to you for not noticing you sooner. But we finally got you on, and I'm grateful that you did come on, and I'm appreciative that you did come on. And we have like 5 viewers now, and we're 13 minutes into it. Hey, you have to be, either you're very popular or you owe all these money at some point.
I owe him a lot of money. I'm going broke.
Yeah, that's what I figured. That's what I figured. But well, anyway,
I'm glad to be here.
What scale do you do?
I model HO scale.
HO scale.
Can't do the end.
Can't do the end scale. Yeah, I understand.
And big fat fingers. I can't do that.
I hear you. Excuse me. I'm sorry. So now we talked earlier because we do the tech tune-up for you guys who've been on the show or don't know about the show. What we do is prior to us coming on, we do a tech tune-up to make sure everything is working properly and Mr. Murphy don't show up. But in the course of our discussion, your railroad is something that you've basically come up with, right? It's a fictitious setting.
Yeah, it's 100% fictitious. Some people who do like different subdivisions of like Norfolk Southern, CSX, so on and so forth. But nah, I just kind of made it up as I went. Came up with a layout name, Crooked River and Eastern. Crooked River, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. The Cuyahoga River runs right through the middle of town. Cuyahoga in Native American tongue, from what we've always been taught, means crooked. Cuyahoga River is the river, Cuyahoga, Crooked River. So that's kind of where I went with that. Right. I do have one little river.
Is it based on the what do you call it? I know it's fictitious, but I know the Cleveland area and the Ohio area. Is it anything to do with railroading in Ohio?
Well, other than it being mostly Eastern roads, CSX mainly. Well, I do have a couple of Union Pacific locomotives. The coal trains. So I do have a coal mine, which I guess would be more like southeastern Ohio near the Pennsylvania-West Virginia border. But I also like grain, so I have a grain elevator, and then that'd be more like western Ohio. So it's just kind of totally freelance, nothing, no real rhyme or reason to it in a lot of ways, which is kind of actually something that I would have done differently. I think it would have been more, if I knew then what I know now, the famous phrase, I would have made it more specific to a certain, area, branch line, something of that nature that would be a little more prototypical. So, but then there's also fun in just making things up as you go too. So,
yeah. That's very true. That's very true. Now, are your locomotives? Do you have them in CSX, or have you painted them in custom colors to the Crooked River and Eastern Railroad?
Yeah, I do have some custom painted locomotives. This is my logo here on my shirt. And I have one locomotive now. I do have one that I'm having painted up for me as well. That's going to have sound and everything in it. But I have some box cars, some green cars. But it's a short line. It's going to service the industries and bring the goods to the CSX for the main line and transport to points everywhere, where the Crooked River Railroad is going to service the grain facility, the mine, so on and so forth. I guess if you want to go with some type of a story.
Oh, I saw your promo video for, coming up on, for coming on the show. And I saw that
Yeah,
the grain elevator, and that was that's some grain elevator you got there.
yeah. I wanted it to be bigger. Actually, I just kind of ran out of room over there. I guess I could have cut those in half and put them up against the backdrop as more of a background building. Could have done that. Would have given me a little more room there, but
It's
thanks.
pretty impressive.
Thanks.
I can't wait to see when your wife
Yeah,
she was going to do the cricket letters, cut out the cricket letters.
yeah. I'm excited for that. We had a flood down here in the basement not too long ago, and our cord for it, the little power cord, was sitting in the water, so the cord got fried. And well, they're hoping it's just the cord. So we ordered a new cord for it. Once she gets that, we'll be able to do the printing or printing. I guess it would be. I don't know anything about that stuff. I'm not very computer savvy, as you guys have seen with this whole tech tune-up, but I try. YouTube things do.
Funky 107 says, Bill, I didn't say hi to anyone on my chat before. I'm doing it here. Sorry, I'm doing it here. All right, just send me a check, $50, and we'll call it even. Can I tell you? But now we got 50 people speaking. 50 people are in the chat. You really must owe a lot of people money.
I owe a lot of money, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody's saying hello to everybody. Hello, everybody out there. Hey, and you guys are mostly Marky's show, right? And nobody said hello to anybody up there? Yeah, Dwight of Northern Star Railroad says, wow, David must have a large room. I see a lot of Husky stacks and long cars.
It's well, the part of the basement it's 11 feet. You see the beam above me in the it's the middle of the house there.
Yes,
the
I
beam
see this.
above my-
Yeah, that's an important
So
part of
from that-
that's an important part of the house.
Yeah, it keeps the rest of it up. So
Yeah.
from that beam back is about 11 feet, and then I got another 11 feet this way.
Right.
So this is gonna probably be hopefully my annex. I'll be taking that over hopefully at some point, maybe this year or next. And then it goes, my longest wall from the corner there over this way is 19 feet. So, and then you have like this utility room and the furnace room and that. So it's not a huge basement, but it's good. I'm happy to have it. I mean, I finally like only started the railroad maybe 3 years ago, and I was out of the hobby for a good 20 years or so, and between time constraints, space restraints, and all that kind of stuff. And when we bought this house, I was able to finally get things together enough to slowly put this together and get to the point where I could start building. So I'm glad to have the space, and a lot of guys don't. Some guys are in small bedrooms, some guys are out in their sheds, and which is awesome that this hobby allows for that kind of stuff. So you take what you can get.
I know
I actually really like some of the fellas that have the shelf layouts, where it's just maybe 6 or 8 feet long by 2-3 feet wide. Just a little switching layout. I think it's kind of cool too.
John 2618 has a great shelf layout.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Hold on. Don Incorporated, you guys are getting paid? No, Dunk Incorporated Custom, you guys are getting paid. Over here on Model Railroad Live, everything is for free, Dunk. We don't get paid. We don't ask for Patreon. We don't ask to support. Everything is done free of charge without any, no super chats, no nothing. Not that we have anything against that we here at Model Railroading Live don't do that. So everything here is free of charge. Free, as the commercial says.
Yeah, I don't have any of that either. Of course, YouTube has all their rules, and you got to meet certain criteria to get, monetized and have ads and all that stuff. I don't know what all the rules are. And
Yeah,
that's
I
fine.
can't.
Whatever.
We can't. You know,
You know.
we chip in a little from our pockets. It's all good. It works out.
It's fun. It's just fun to do. Enjoy the hobby. As
Yeah,
much as people
Jana
say,
Man 68 says Big Bill. No, Dave is paying people to show up. We said
yeah,
Dave owes all you guys money, or or he's this popular. And I'd like to believe he's this popular. Redbird Tony, 2010 says your new neighbor scene looks great, Dave.
oh, thanks, Tony. Yeah, I still got some things to do. I just ordered these. I got them in the mail today, the mailboxes and the flags. So just some more little details from, scene masters, whatever, Walders. So I tried to make some mailboxes just from some old sprues. That came out okay, but look kind of janky.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go with what's already out there and pay the man.
It wasn't.
It looks better. You weather it yourself. So
Yeah,
Dave, I wanted to ask you about your layout. Uh,
yeah.
how big is this crooked river and Eastern Railroad River? Eastern Railroad. How big is it? I'm
Big as like I said, that's about 19 by 11.
19 by
It's
11.
pretty much around in a circle. I do have a peninsula that's like 12 feet long in the middle, so it kind of almost like an M. And then it has let's see, I think I have a picture of it somewhere in there. The what do you call it?
I love show and tell. Show and tell.
Now, if I could
Correct.
bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, John, what do I do here? I go into share again.
Wink to
All right.
Sanity says, bigger than my house, LOL.
All right. You see that?
Yeah, you see a lot of. There we go.
All right. Is it going up on the screen for everybody?
Yeah, we can see it. Yes, there's the picture.
All right. I mean, and that's basically, there's been a couple of little tweaks with trees and stuff, but it's basically that's what it is.
Now,
This is my duck on right here.
now, John
And then,
Prescott designed this for you, right?
yeah, John Prescott was a designer.
How did that
And,
How did that come around?
there was another guy I was talking to when I first got in. It was Brian. Damn, if I can think of his last name, but the Landsberg and Great Western, I think it is. And he's kind of been silent for a while. I think he's trying to get back into it again. He moved a couple times, but he knew John and introduced me to John. And as Brian and I were talking, I got to saying, hey, I think it's going to be beneficial to have somebody actually do a layout for me, the design, than me just trying to wing it and spend money with, you know, buying more than I need or not enough of what I need. And, so I was more comfortable going off of a blueprint, I guess you can say. So he hooked me up with him, and John's a good guy. And he's not doing too much in the model railroading community right now, I don't think, though. He does a lot of that wargaming type stuff too, though. All right, how do I get rid of this thing? Minimize.
You want to get rid of it, or you want to move on to another picture?
I could do that too. Where did I go with it? What else I got in here? There's my farm scene. It's the house at the farm with some ladies hanging out in laundry.
Nice.
You see it? Oh, yeah. And I do what I can. It says my fuel depot. I actually have this picture. You have a picture from him too, that Christopher Williams. Bill, he painted that one picture for you of.
Oh yes, I have it on the wall. Yes.
Yeah, the macaroni factory. He actually did a painting of this for me. I have it on the wall here in the train room. So it's just, The guy's amazing. There's one of my Union Pacifics. I got the veterans unit. This is coming up the peninsula here. There's my intermodal yard. Now this is all changed. This is where that neighborhood's at now. And off to the
Right.
side over here, the elevators. But this comes up and around and comes back down. And the other side, there's a divider down the middle of the layout. See, I don't know. There's one of my box cars.
Mike Lambertino Tino wants to know what track and roadbed do you use?
I use Code 100 Atlas Flex track, and all my switches are Pico switches. I got probably close to 50 switches on this layout. And I'm going to shamelessly say that I've got them all through Yankee Dabbler. Sorry, had to do
That's
that.
all right. I need to ask you.
Sponsor.
Okay, of your channel.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
I got it all through him.
Yeah, that's great. No problem. Hey, everybody deserves a little. Can you
There's
last picture?
go backwards.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Now there's the Crooked River and Eastern Railroad. That's a box car that you obviously had made up. Now I want to ask you, in the track, there's a paper clip.
Oh, those are little T-pins. I use those while I was probably putting that spur in. It was probably drying.
Oh, okay. I thought that was
When I
okay. I thought it was something to deal with the what do you call it? The holding trains back. You know, if they roll, if there's a slight incline.
like a bumper or something. I do use them as bumpers. I actually got some bumpers today too in the mail. Uh, and the track, I weathered all that by hand. And you see the track. I painted that all by hand, just with acrylics. I didn't use an airbrush or anything.
Cool.
I worked for quite a few years, so I would stay up late at night, and then as I was building it, I'd put a new section of track in, and I would hand paint it. Be the middle of the night, just quiet, and me listening to some old tunes and painting track.
Nice. Sparky wants to know. He says, "What did you use for the sheet hanging down?" And I don't understand that question as to what.
Was she?
Yeah, that's what we want to know.
Oh, on the ladies hanging clothes back here.
Oh yeah. I guess that's I guess so.
This was bought like this. This was a set. I got it actually at a train show, and it all came like that.
Yeah, he bought it
And
like
I
that.
just painted. Yeah, I just painted up the clothes and the sheets and that, painted it all. But they came on these lines, the three of them together, and it was like this lady, I think the kid and that lady came with it.
Okay.
It is a loose set. It wasn't in a package. Somebody was selling. I think I paid $5 at a show for it or something like that. But
Okay.
yeah,
Not bad. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I try. It's a fun hobby. We do.
Yeah.
It's a crossing. There's the elevators there. There's the divider. The backside of the divider is a mountain. Goes through here through a tunnel. Comes out.
There's the grain elevators back there. That's sweet.
Yeah.
And are you running this
These
in
are
Oh.
like CSX a little bit, if you could tell.
Yeah, I think we have a little TXS addiction going on here.
Yeah, a little bit of a fan. There's a little asphalt plant. This is going here now. I was trying. I got this at like Michael's or one of those hobby craft stores. It was just like bulletin board paper. I thought it would look okay. Yeah, I didn't like the way it came out. It's like all the same cloud.
Dwight of Northern Star Railroad Line says, "Nice job painting and decaling the boxcar."
Oh, thanks. And that decal was an early. Joe Geraci. I don't know if you guys know Joe. A lot of you guys know him. I don't know if you know him, Bill, or not, but he makes all my decals. We made all that.
Who makes them?
Joe Geraci.
Oh, Joe. Yeah, we know him. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe G. This was an early scheme, kind of based off of the C&O Progress scheme. So I have that on a couple cars, and then I have a new scheme like I showed you on the shirt.
Timothy Wayman says there was an article a few years ago back in Model Railroad magazine about making the clothes using tissue paper. I believe, he says, I believe, and soak it in white glue. Sparky says you need a Conrail engine in that.
Well, I have I don't know if I can find a picture of that one or not. Me and these pictures aren't going too well.
They're going fine. Don't worry about it.
I think that's all I had pulled up was these. I don't have any other ones. I'm afraid to go. There's one of two.
You Are Naked 4 says that's the most CSX trains I've seen off the tracks all the time.
Yeah, I just lined them up for it was like a front end Friday picture I did on my Facebook page. So somebody lined up. They had a bunch of I don't know if it was Norfolk Southern or what, and so I had to throw them up there.
Eminem Rail says, "Dang, nice collection. Any duplicates, Dave?" Hint, hint, hint.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right.
I recall IMRRO.com says, "Joe G for the win. I know him."
Yeah. Joe's a good guy. All right, that's enough of that. Yeah, he makes all my decals. He does a great job. He's painting up an engine for me. I got him doing an RS3. It's a Atlas Classic, so he's going to paint that up. And I bought a TCS WOW sound decoder. He's going to put that in there for me. See how that goes. It's going to be all the Crooked River and Eastern scheme.
Sparky 107 says CSX is blah blue. Conrail now, that's big blue. You can fall in love with that. I think Spark's a big Conrail fan.
Sparky has definitely. I like Conrail. Conrail was real big in Cleveland, man. Huge yard.
Yeah.
With yards. It's all CSX now, but in fact, kind of a long story, but as a kid, across the street, I had a good friend. His dad worked for Conrail at the Collinwood Yards here in Cleveland. He was a switch operator, I don't know what he did exactly. I was too young to really get it. But he would, and you'd never be able to do this today, but he would take me and his son down to the yard there, and we'd take us on little rides on the switchers and stuff. And then, go in and out of cabooses and just, with his supervision. Of course, we didn't get to drive them or nothing like that, but you'd never be allowed to do that in today's world. But this is back in the, late 70s or early 80s, when we were kids.
Sure. Hunter D says, I got to learn to make my own decals.
Yeah. It's you can buy the decal paper and stuff.
Well, Hunter D, it's funny you should mention that. You should go on to Ron's Trains and Things. Ron Marsh, he has a video on how you can do decals. Pretty informative, pretty good tutorial. And Ron's Trains and Things. Good YouTube channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andrew Gilmore from Australia is here. Do you know Andrew, Dave?
Do I don't know if I do or not.
Yeah, Andrew Gilmore is from Australia. So nice to see you, Andrew. Thank you very much for joining us.
I apologize if it's not ringing a bell. But we're to kind of go back. We're as much as the hobby is, I don't say died, but like the hobby stored, brick and mortar type stores. The community, I think, is actually almost in a lot of ways stronger just because of YouTube and Facebook and all these different media outlets we have to communicate with each other. Like I would never know you, Bill. We had Model Railroader, we had the local hobby shop, we had Model Railroad Craftsman, those magazines and that. But unless you were featured in those magazines, I would never know who you are if you weren't like a local guy I run into at the hobby store.
Sure.
But I never met like Sparky or anybody. We did that nice Steamtown meetup last year. Unfortunately, the meetup at Strasburg's been canceled because of this whole virus and everything. But there'll be a bunch of guys and gals going to that. So and kudos to Sparky and it for helping organize these meet and greets and shows like yours, shows like his. Wilmer, he does that awesome the Not Bad series and all the shout outs. And you run into a lot of good people and good channels. And
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of good
keeps
things
us
going on,
connected.
especially now with this, isolation thing going on where we have to self quarantine ourselves and stay
Yeah.
indoors. It's now more than ever that it becomes important, and this is the only way to, basically to communicate with each other safely and in a good social
Yeah.
distance.
But that's one good thing about all this. People are definitely putting out a lot of videos, doing a lot more live streams right now because they're home and they're working on their layouts. And
Hmm.
so, I mean, I try to find a little silver lining in it,
Yeah, sure. Hunter
People have,
Diaz, he wants to know, are those CSX engines, are they numbered, individually numbered? I guess
yeah, they're
sequentially.
all, oh, not in order, like, they're just whatever random numbers, but they're all different road numbers.
Right.
And they're mixed. I got some Broadway Limited in there, I got some Scale Trains in there, Athearn Genesis in there, Atlas.
What would be your favorite?
I got
What would be the favorite? What would be the maker? What maker? Is it Athearn, Atlas, Genesis?
well, I'm a big Scale Trains fan. I really like Scale Trains. But as far as the variety, Athearn Genesis has been around a lot longer than Scale Trains. They have a lot more, longevity as far as different types of engines they've made, and I like their stuff too. Um, but Scale Trains, Broadway Limited, they're both like real heavy engines. I like that about
Hmm.
them, real heavy and solid. So
Right.
Athearn, I feel they're a little bit light. Even their larger engines are a little bit light. They don't pull as many cars. But most of us will run them in consist net anyways. So
Yeah.
when you're going to run, so I like running long trains. A lot of guys know
Uh,
that. I like my long trains.
yeah. Dave, BNSF N scale says those same figures that you had in the laundry scene in the farm, figures come in undecorated Presna. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Figures set in N scale, complete with laundry. So that's good to know. He also, Hunter D goes, he says, I go back
Yeah.
further, way back further, New York Central and Pensy for me,
Mm-hmm.
and Dwight of Northern Star.
Well, originally I
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, that's fine.
No, Dwight, I just want to say
Originally,
Dwight of Northern Stars Railroad says making decals, or as our Canadian friends up north say, decals, really easy.
Eccles, yeah, Rip Track over there.
Now, when on your layout, now that it's like in its half finished, half not, you're working on it, changing it. Is it gonna
Yeah,
be? Are you gonna be doing operations on it, or is it just?
yeah. I've done a couple operation videos. I'm not real good at the operations. I don't have like a card car system or anything. I want to get hooked into JMRI. Just to get a little better with that. Um, I think that would be more fun. I enjoy. Sometimes I'll just come down here. I'm sitting like off to this side here to my left is my workbench. I'll just sit here and tinker with things and let the trains run around. And it's kind of fun until the gremlins come out.
Yeah,
On the good nights when I get out, it's
yeah,
fun.
I know. And here's a question I'd like to ask you. How do you clean your track?
I have my wife, my lovely wife. She bought for me for Father's Day last year before. I think it was Father's Day. That brass track cleaner car, uh,
Uh-huh.
RX or something. It's a heavy one. I don't think she realized it was as expensive as it was, but she got me that. So I'll run that around just with isopropyl alcohol. That's what I use to clean. In between, when I don't feel like dragging that out, I just use one of those old Bright Boys, little eraser, track erasers. I try not to use that more than I have to, but I don't know.
I'm just
I run all metal wheels on everything.
Yeah, I do too. I just asked because you know, just, you know, when you have a layout your size, my size, anybody who has a large layout, it's always I'm always interested to figure out how they clean their track and how often do you clean it?
Yeah. How often? Well, just depends how much I'm running them. Uh, I'd say probably, I'd say probably once a week. Anyways, I don't know if I'm not down here. That gets there, you know, with the furnace and everything, and you know, and when I'm doing work on it, stuff, you know, you get a lot of dust. And
Yeah, no,
sure.
sure. I just had a major renovation where I put up a new peninsula, and I'm trying to get I got the, you know, the track laid, and I sent some pictures to my good friend Steve Atwell, and he was like, "Wow." He says, "You got," because he lives in New York City, but it's the start of the Corona, way before when it started, you know, reaching. He works in Broadway plays as an electrician, so they shut down Broadway, so he couldn't work. So he went back to back to Missouri, where he has the Midwest, and it's a shameless plug, Midwest Model Railroading Hobby Shop. He's been working there, and but he helped me lay the track out on the peninsula and everything. When I sent him the pictures, he was like, "Wow, you got a lot accomplished." And I replied in the text. I said, "It's nothing like a good old fashioned quarantine to get things done." You know?
Yeah, right.
So
What hobby
you know,
did you say he works at?
Midwest Model Railroad Hobby Shop.
Oh, that's a good hobby shop too. Yeah, I've gotten stuff from him a
Yeah,
lot too.
he doesn't sponsor me, and I don't. But he's got. I like his prices, and I like him, and
Right.
you know, nice guy. But he's you know, and I'm cleaning the rails up, and I had fish plate films. Greg, he recommended that you use this. It's an
What is it?
Australian product, Onyx. You can get it on Amazon. Inex, I think it's called.
Okay.
It's a conductor. It's like CRC. It's a product of Australia. Oh, and Andrew, you know this. Andrew Gilmore says, "I'm just another crazy Aussie." I don't think so. But yeah, it is
Yeah.
MX3
So I've never tried that CRC or that stuff.
CRE.
IMAX.
Yeah, it's an interesting process because fish plate films. Greg says that he says your railroad is like one big circuit breaker. The wheels from the train, from the engine to the rail. When connected,
Yeah.
make connection, and you got electricity. And he makes sense. So he says you should use this stuff. So I've been using this stuff, and it seems to be working so far. Seems to be working.
And
Steve
you get
Evans,
better
yeah,
performance out of the locomotives.
yeah, I've been getting. I got to ask him some questions. I'm waiting for him to get back to me. I have some questions I want to ask about applying it, but it seems to be it's a lubricant with an anti-corrosion formula, and it seems to be working pretty well so far. Steve 87 PSAP says if you go to Micromart, they have a printer that prints white. That's the tough part on decals. Yeah, white doesn't show up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see if we got a couple of more questions for you, Dave. Change Train says, "Hi everyone. Hi Dave. I'm working on a project I need to talk to you about." He says, "I'm going to message you later." You know Shane
Okay.
from Train?
Yeah.
So yeah. So Steve 87. It's a laser printer. You on Naked says Steve 87. It's a laser printer that that they have. It's a white tone cartridge. Let's see. Uh,
You know, I'm always open to anybody that wants to contact me. If I can help you out in any way, I mean, not that I'm some guru or anything, but if I can help, I will. You know, maybe I've tried something and have an opinion on it or something like that. But I'm always open to that. I had so many guys, and still do have so many guys that are willing to help you out. And like you said, just going back to just the community itself, and just guys are so willing to help each other out and just open and knowledgeable, and it's just amazing the things I've learned from you guys.
tell me tell me what's one of the things that you've learned. What have you taken away from all this Uh,
Well, something that stuck with me and I'll recommend to anybody was, we all try to find budget friendly things, scenery items, this, that, whatever. I always recommend if you're going, you don't want to chintz out on your track, your switches, that type of thing. You're going to spend the money, spend it on that kind of stuff because if you don't do the track work right, you're not gonna enjoy the layout anyways. You're gonna have derailments constantly. You're gonna have poor conduction. You know what I mean, that type of thing. So spend the money where it's needed, where it makes more sense. It's not a cheap hobby. We all know that.
no,
So
not at
if you
all.
can if you buy some scenery type tricks or whatever, that's fine. But I think when it comes to things like tracks, switches, your system that you use, I use NCE. I'm very happy with NCE, and a lot of guys like Digitrax and MRC and that too. And I have nothing against them. I don't have them, so I don't know anything about them really. But um, just that type of thing. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Um,
Yeah,
but
there's always room to learn and
say that the whole old adage of measure twice, cut once.
yeah, yeah. Now in your layout, is it one main line that goes around?
I have a double main line. It has 4 different crossovers in it. The inside main can either bypass that whole peninsula or you can go up and around the peninsula. So technically, if I wanted to, I have my mine up there. I have my intermodal up on that peninsula, and then that grain elevator. I got room for another one up there. I think I'm going to put my concrete plant over there too. But I could bypass that whole peninsula and just switch out industries if I wanted to, almost like a shelf layout, if you will.
Yeah,
I'm just like I said, I just don't do a lot of operation. I need to get better at it. I need to do more of it. But my thinking originally when John designed the layout was that you can run a train on the inside, so and so can run it on the outside, and you have 3 different guys switching on that peninsula if you wanted to, really. I mean,
and
probably
okay.
4 guys comfortably playing around up there. I bet you. I never had one guy. He lives kind of close by, about an hour away from me. He'll come by every once in a while. We'll mess around, but that's about it.
Right, and what was it? It's something that came up that we talked about the other night, and I'm just, um, oof, it slipped my mind. That's what happens when you get old.
Which
I wanted to
Steve
ask you,
87.
what's the okay? Oh, let me ask. Redbird Turney said, I'm sorry, Redbird in 2010. He said that he was going to start using RC. It won't, and
Yeah.
this stuff inox, INOX. This won't ruin the plastic on the track. It won't. It won't. It's not corrosive like that. This is used in CR. I think anyway. So far, I have Pico Code 83 and Pico switches, and it hasn't done anything to the tracks. I put it on a rag, and wipe it on the track. So you can get this on Amazon. With shipping and handling, it's about like $14. So it's worth it to get it. Ron's
I see
train.
Joe G's in it.
Is he? Let me see. I haven't.
Yeah, I see him in there. He was
Really,
homeschooling. I think he's
you guys homeschooling is a lot
homeschooling.
of work. Yeah. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I have the young kids. I feel for you with this quarantine and everything. Having to basically teach your kids, teach them school stuff. Um, I know Ohio just announced they're going to keep the schools closed to the end of the. They're not going to go back this year, the school year anyway. So they're done. They're going to finish up online like they've been doing the last 6 weeks or whatever. But I got a senior in high school, missing out on all that senior stuff. My daughter's a
Yeah.
senior in college. She's missing out on that. So what are you going to do? Is what it is.
Yeah. It is totally. It sucks. That's what it does. It sucks.
Yeah.
The
I think you're
closet
talking about
branch,
slowly
closet
reopen.
branch wants to know, how did you make the entrance of your layout? Is it a lift up? If so, how did you construct it?
There's a piece of advice I should have said earlier with the track. No, it's a duck under. That's not going to be very good here as I get older. So I wish I would have made a lift out or a swing gate or something. I did not do that. You know, when I first started back in, I didn't have much confidence in my construction abilities, so I didn't want to mess with that. Let me just make it solid. You know, it's about 43, 45 inches high. So it's not a terrible duck under, but it's still enough, you know. Somebody it's, you know, I don't know. It's getting rougher as the days go on, but I wish I would have done that. Part of me wants to change it, but it runs so good over there that I hate to mess with it and then
I
have an
know,
issue.
I know.
And I actually have a crossover. What's that? Oh,
Yeah, you guys out
okay.
there can't hear John, but John is speaking to Dave and I, and he's telling us that we should check out, that Dave should check out Indian Head Valley Railroad's Wilma's channel, because he did a lift out recently and built one. So
Yeah, that's
lift
right. He
up,
did.
I'm sorry, lift up, lift up.
Yeah, so I may change that eventually. I do have a crossover on that. It's only about, I don't know, maybe that wide. It's like 8 inches wide or something. It's not wide. It's enough for the two tracks and a little bit on each side, which it's kind of a bad idea too. A tumble, it's not going to be fun. I need to do some kind of plexiglass or something, but um, little things like that. There's little things about the layout that I would probably do differently. You know, like that crossover there, the lift out. On the far corner over there, on the back side, I had a yard lead that was really short going into my main yard. I did kind of remedy that finally. It was kind of a real chore to do so after the fact. It would have been a lot easier to do it, you know, early on. Just things that I didn't realize that I wanted or should have done,
Oh,
you know, in advance.
well, that can
But
always
you know,
be
I'm sure
changed.
everybody come here and they're not happy with it.
That can always be changed, though. I mean, look at me. I mean, I took the peninsula down, and and I put a new peninsula up, and I'm very happy with the new one. So you don't have to do it all at once. You
Yeah,
can, you can say, hey, I'm going to take this section, and this is going to be removed. And the one thing, and I'm sure that you found this to be true now that you've built that layout, right? And you said, well, there are things I would have done differently, had I
right.
known. Hindsight is always 2020. We all know that.
Sure, sure.
Now that you know that, and now that you've gone through the experience of building, your layout, and now going back to it, you can better plan it. Whereas before
It's
you
true.
didn't really know what you would, how you were doing it. Well, like you admitted earlier, you said, I wasn't that confident in my construction ability, but yet, I forged through it, and look what you did. Look what you've accomplished. So your ability, you overcame and adapted, as my Uncle Jack said, former
Yeah.
United States Marine Corps veteran of Korea and Vietnam, said. So you did really well on that. So now that you have those
Well,
components,
thanks.
knowledge under your belt, now you can say, hey, you know what? I want to do the lift out. I want to make that a lift out, but I got to plan it. Now I gotta
Yeah.
start, like you said earlier, I got to start asking a lot of questions. Find somebody who did it before, ask if they can get in touch with me, exchange phone numbers, get on the phone and say, okay, this is what they can do, and this is how they can do it. That's the
Right.
benefit of doing the layout and saying, hey, I want to change it. Because when I did this peninsula, this wasn't something like, let me just tear it out and work from that. I actually sat down, because previous, layouts that I built, I said, let me plan this one out. Let me just see what it is. So
Right.
that's the beauty of it. What you've learned, now you can apply it to making changes, and they don't have to be radical changes. They can be easy changes.
That's
Someone
true.
Dan, I guess we got to catch up on some questions here. Hunter D had asked about a paint remover, and Timothy Wayman said some brake fluid, but it can attack plastics if left long because it has some acetone in it. And Robert Cicera, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right, Rob. Please forgive me, it's my New York accent. Any brand of paint remover should be tested on scrap paint or anything that's not attached to your layer. I totally agree with that. Totally agree. And when you talked about getting old and decrepit, Jim Tedesco says, are you talking? I think it was. Where is it? Are you talking about me? Oh, Dave at BNSF N Scale says, old and decrepit like me, you mean? I don't know if he was singling you out, Dave. Cloverdale Rail. Next railroad will have a duck under instead of a gate. That's Marcel out of Vancouver there. Welcome, Marcel.
Yeah.
Do you know
Oh,
Marcel?
yeah, okay.
Do you know Marcel?
Yeah. I know him through the chats and stuff, you know.
Marcel,
Chimes in.
he is such a
Back Tuesday
great
and that.
guy. He is such a great guy. He really is. Hunter D, Timothy, yet my biggest worry is that I will end up with a half melted shell. Yep. And stuff like that. So,
Well,
what's the
I
best
think
thing
everybody's
about
trying to
your
look
layout, Dave? What's the best thing about your layout that you like doing?
well, I like running trains, but I don't know. I like doing scenery work. I like the detail work. It's fun. Um, this is like my refuge. I think a lot of guys use it as a refuge. You know, it's land to make believe. It's what you want it to be. I come down here and just do my thing, and it's kind of a getaway. But the layout itself, I don't know. It just I like it all. I mean, I
I'm
don't know
good.
like one part I like most. You know, I like uh, I like running long coal trains. I like running intermodals. My problem is I want everything.
Ah,
Grain. I don't have room for it all. And I
no.
like long trains. Way more cars than I could keep on the layout. Which I started out with like zero, and now I got more than I could use. I've sold a bunch of stuff too. I still got more
Yeah,
than I can use.
I know.
But
What's the
just
least thing you like doing?
the least thing is probably soldering. I've gotten better at soldering, but you know, I'd like I want to learn like the decoder installs. I've done some. It's hard when you're not great at soldering. I mean, okay at it, but when you're trying to solder down little boards and stuff, you got to be good at it. You don't want to mess that up. So probably that.
It's
Go ahead.
no. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
No, I was done. Soldering,
No,
wiring.
it's funny you should mention soldering because Ron's Trains and Things has a great video on soldering, how to
He
take care
does.
of your soldering iron, how to clean your soldering iron, and how to maintain your tips on your soldering iron. Ron's Trains and Things, Ron Marsh.
And I
And
believe I
Ron,
watched that video. And I'm gonna
yes.
so
What is
he's
first?
got a lot of good videos.
Yes, he does. Robertson says I pronounced his name right. And Robert, you're new to this show. I think.
Hey Robert, welcome.
Yeah, Robert, welcome. Hope to see you around. This is Model Railroading Live. This is Who's Big Bill talking tonight, and we're talking to Dave of Crooked River Eastern Railroad and stuff like that. So welcome, Bob. Hope it's all right to call you Bob. The Closet Branch wants to know what is your average train length that you run?
Well, this intermodal going around, I think it's 25 cars. It's got 3 or 4 sets of 5. They're all 48 footers, well cars, and I have some singles in there too. I've had up to 50 coal cars.
50.
Yeah,
Do you weight your cars?
I try to keep them to standards, NMRA standards.
Uh-huh.
But 50.
No, and how many engines pull the? How many engines pull the 50?
Usually just two. Scale
Okay.
trains will pull. I usually have I have two of the scale trains SD40-2, the operator ones. I weathered those up and everything. But I'll put those two together and run a nice long cold train with those two. They're nice and dirty.
Yeah,
Dirty dogs, I call them.
yeah. Dirty dogs is right.
And that's the class, the modern locomotives are like your Gevos and the SD70s and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
when I think of a locomotive, SD40-2s.
There you go.
Classic locomotive, man. In my opinion.
Bulldog. The bulldog.
But when I started out originally wanting to do more of an early diesel era, late steam, early diesel transition era, and then I, B&O, C&O, and I kind of moved into the chassis era because, like I said before, I want to do it all, but I can't settle on an era. I like Conrail too, so now I'm like, well, maybe I'll go around that Conrail transition era there in 99, 2000 when they split them up. I hate this. Sorry, Sparky. I know they split them up, and I was sad about it too. But this way I can still run CSX and I can still run some Conrail and things like that. I just kind of bounce around. Mostly Eastern railroads, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a big Eastern. I'm a big B&O, Baltimore, Ohio. So, yeah, I got a couple of engines. Let's see. Robert Sincere says, "You're eclectic," meaning me. I'm eclectic. I hope you're not cursing at me, Bob. Because no, I know what eclectic means. Yeah, I know what that means.
Yeah.
Means I'm electric. Means I'm electrifying. I know. That's Latin. I know. And Robert goes on to say that this is what I did for a living. You worked as an engineer on the big locomotives, Rob? If you did, you need to get in touch with me, Rob, because I want you on this show of Who's Big Bill Talking To.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
Oh, that would be an excellent one. Here it is. I'm putting my email in there, Robert. Bring it in. Check me out, bro. 'Cause we'd love to have you on if you wouldn't mind.
It's you got a couple of guys out here in the model railroad community. You got DJ's Trains. He's I believe he's a CSX engineer, and who's the other guy? Richard. He's an NS engineer, I believe. Watch him a lot. I can't think of his last name, but there's some guys that are actually, like I was telling you about my buddy's dad when I worked for Conrail. He didn't want anything to do with the model stuff. He used to make fun of the foamers, as we call them today, the foamers, and the model railroaders knew more about the locomotives and the railroads almost than the guys that work for them because they're so into it.
Yeah. Well,
this one's this model because it has this type of fan on it or grill on it.
Yeah.
I can't tell them apart myself, but some of these guys are just they'd be interesting to have on your show is what I was getting at because they can give you both sides of it. Real operations. I don't know if you know who DJ Trains is or not, but he does a lot of videos on operations of the railroad and how to model those realistically. And he's got a drone. He flies his drone around a lot. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they do. So, Robert, I don't know what you mean. Do you have any grades? Do you have any grades? That's what he's asking you. Do you have any?
Me?
Yeah.
I do have a grade. As you're going up past that neighborhood, and in a video, the video I did the other day, as you're coming past and up around the grain elevator, it's about a 2% grade. It's not much. It goes from flat to about maybe 2 inches or so up, 3 inches up at a mine. So I just use those Woodland Scenics, the incline sets. The riser sets. Thank you. I wasn't sure I could do the measurements and get the right grade and all that, so that took all the guesswork out of it for me.
Yeah.
So it works out real nice,
Yeah.
I think if I was ever rebuild, I would do like an open bench work and use the risers and all that. I think I'm more confident in my abilities nowadays. I'd like to have some different grades and inclines and just interesting things where you got trains going up and over each other, bridges and
Yeah,
just some more interesting things. But if I ever expand into this other area is like 11 by 10, roughly. I may come over. And what I would do is, that's probably how I would fix that duck under. I'd get rid of that altogether and put a swing gate or something when I came across the aisle here to in the new area and make that the new gate to get in. I don't know, we'll see.
Well, Robert said that he worked in electronics. Robert, if you have a layout or you're wanting to build a layout and you're thinking about building a layout or you have a layout, please utilize that my email address and get in touch with me. I'd love to have you on the show. We can talk about it. Hunter D is now I'm moving to New York Central and PRR. Ron's Trains and Things says DJ Trains has a great channel for both model stuff and prototype stuff. Yes. And Jerry Santarella says Engineer Hall. Jerry, how are you, Jerry? I saw your video today. Good shout out on that.
Thanks, Jerry. Engineer Hall.
Yep. He gave a good shout out. You guys out there?
That's a question.
You're the guest. You're speaking. Go.
What's that?
You go.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was going to ask you. I have a question for you, Bill.
Sure.
Where's Scott? I don't see Scott today. Is he not?
You know, that is a very good question, and I am so glad. You know, this last week has. Thank you. I really thank you for that. Really, seriously, thank you, because things have been really like crazy.
That is awesome.
Around here with people, just things happening. We know what they are. I don't need to get into what's going on and stuff like that. So, but you're right. I totally forgot about Scott, and but I won't just.
Hope he didn't make an appearance.
He's here. There he is.
Oh, there's Scott.
There's Scott. He's right
now
there.
my night is complete.
Yeah, Scott is here. Scott the man is here. And from the Neely Historical Railroad, Scott is
right.
Gentlemen. Scott's still around. He hasn't been doing a lot. He's been eating the bacon in the house and drinking my coffee. So
I saw that.
Scott is here.
Well, you're a nice enough guy to share all that with him.
Yeah, and you guys can share. Got to be where you want them to be. He'll definitely he'll come to the house.
Well, and then you got Jerry taking Wilmer on rail fanning trips with them. I'm a little hurt, Jerry. I'd like to go on a rail fan trip with you, man.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Say, I was going to bring something up, and I lost all track of it. That was good, Dave. That was good.
Sorry.
I gotta tell you, that was good. Joe G, yes. Paul, Joe has been in touch with me in regards to being on the show, and I sent him a return email, and I guess everything with homeschooling, he's an essential worker. His life's been busy, but yeah, I want Joe G on Who's Big Bill Talking To. I absolutely do, and stuff like that. So, he's definitely he was one.
I gotta watch that one.
Yeah, Joe G was one of the first guys that he was on with us early many years ago when we, was with us when we started out doing this whole thing for Model Man Mike. He was in on some of our late night chats and stuff. So yeah, I would love to have Joe G on. It would be good. And Michael Lambertino says, "Where is this? Where's Scott? I'm lost." Well, Scott, Mike, I'm glad I will give you the inside thing. Where is Scott? He's from the Neely Historical Railroad. You should go. Everyone should check that channel out. I don't know why this guy Don G has the amount of subscribers. He has a very low amount of subscribers. You should go check out. It's called the Neely Historical Railroad. It's Don G. And what happens is it's Don G, his dad John, another gentleman by the name of Jim, and then there's Scott. Now, every time Scott, in the early parts of the videos, when they first started broadcasting and putting their videos out on YouTube, every time Scott walked in the room, Don G would go, "Oh, Scott's here. Scott's here." And we'd point to Scott, and Scott would give a big wave and everything. And then we had Don and his dad, John, on, and Scott was in the room, and Scott would be working on something while I'm doing the interview, and Scott would come into the picture, and Don would say, "Oh, Scott's here." So I kind of took umbrage. I kind of, not umbrage, that's the wrong word. I kind of took it upon myself to become the unofficial president of the Scott is Here fan club. So I talked with Don G, and I asked if I could have a photo of Scott so that I would do a parody more or less of, "Hey, Scott's here." So I did the parody where I said, "Scott's here," and I went to the wall, and the picture wasn't there. What I did was I taped it to my dining room chair with him in front of my cup of coffee, and I said, "Scott's here." Then I taped him in front of him eating bacon, and "Scott's here." And then I taped him behind the bathroom door. When I closed the bathroom door, I said, "Scott's here" from the Nearly Historical Railroad. So that's how we got Scott's here. And it's turned into a basic cottage industry. Uh, because now what's happening is if you go to the Nearly Historical Railroad and see his latest videos, you can get an actual picture of Scott and download it and put it in your train room and do a video or send a picture of Scott to the Nearly Historical Railroad, and he will put you on his channel to let you know what you're doing. So it's a good thing. Yeah, Mike said, Michael Lambertino, okay, great, LOL, thanks for explaining it. I got it. That's code for, okay, Bill, shut up. That's what I'm going to do. Let's see. Let's a few more questions because we're getting over time here. That Cloverdale Rail says that's how you plug a YouTube channel. Absolutely. Nearly Historical Railroad. I just watched for Scott. Scott's not in the picture anymore because of the whole thing. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Let's see. That's dumpster fire. Yep, I know. So Robert wants to know, you said you ran 50-car trains with 2 engines. You should add 1 more engine because you could be putting stress on motors, he said.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but it's a good point. I just replied to him. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind, definitely. I don't know. They're scale trains. They pull quite a few cars on their own, strong motors, but
Yeah.
I think it would look better with anyways. Be more prototypical with 3.
Okay. Well, Dave, we've come to the end of our journey in our conversation, and I want to thank you very, very much for being a part of this. It was as
my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You as for me.
It's been fun.
It really was good. And for you guys out there, thank you so much for tuning in. We had a high number of what, 51, John? 51. 51. Not that I recommend a quarantine to get all these numbers up there, but it was nice. It was nice. And I need to do a shout out to Jerry. Jerry has a great channel where he does rail fanning and he does the question of the day. On his channel, Jerry Saratier, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Jerry. But check out Jerry's channel because he really is an easygoing guy and he really has some really good. You can ask him any questions you want about model railroading, and he'll get back to you on it on his daily YouTube channel. So, and Jerry, please get in touch with me. I want to have you on the show. Stuff like that. So where was I? Oh, I was saying good night, everybody. I want to thank you for tuning in and watching, and you guys out there with your channels, keep making great content, and producing quality videos and putting them out there so we can learn. And like as you said, Dave said earlier, he was watching a lot of YouTube videos in the beginning and getting instruction on how to do things, and it pays off. So put that good content out there. Make sure it's relevant to what's going on in model railroading. And thank you very much, everybody. Be well, be safe, but most of all, be blessed. Be blessed. Every day you wake up is another gift. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. And tomorrow night, Thursday, April 23rd, is Johnny's Train Talk Show. Mosey on down to the general store where John is. Pull up a chair, grab a cold soda, pop out of the freezer, out of the cooler, and pull a chair up and sit down and talk trains. If you have something you want to bring, you can do like we're doing here. If you have a camera, good internet connection, you can bring and brag. Bring something along to show. If you have a question about model railroading, you have a little problem, you're stuck on something, Johnny's Train Talk Show. That's the place to be because you'll get your answers. Once again, thank you, Dave, for being on from the Crooked River
Thanks for having me.
Railroad. Go check out his channel, see what he's got going on. He's got some really great stuff. And thank you for watching. Take care. Good night. And we will see you on the radio.